This is the video for section 5.3 part 1, and in this section, instead of giving you notes and examples, as your examples, we're just going to do part of your homework assignment together, okay? So we're on page 326, and the problems that we're going to do together are, we're going to start off with number 5, and we're dividing this section up into two separate types of problems. And so we're just going to do certain problems, and we'll add to that assignment later. So we're going to start with number 5. And number 5 says, find W of 5 and W of -4 for each function. And then for number 5, it told us that W of x equals -2x to the third plus 3x minus 12. Okay, so what that means is they've given us this function w, and they want us to find, our first problem will be w of 5. Okay, well, what did they do? They just took 5 and they placed it in place of my x's. So that's what I'm going to do on the right side. I'm going to take all of my x's and replace my x's with 5's. Oops, that's a minus 12. Okay, so minus 12. And now I'm just going to evaluate. -2, we always do exponents first. 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. Plus 15 minus 12. 125 times 2 is 250. And it's going to be -250 plus 15 minus 12. And when I add or subtract these, -250 plus 15 minus 12 is going to be -247. So that's my answer for W of 5. Okay, now we have another problem to do. We're going to have W of -4. So now we're still using this same function, and I'm plugging -4 in. So -2 times -4 to the third power plus 3 times -4 minus 12. -2, -4 times -4 times -4 is -64. 3 times -4 is minus 12, and then I have my minus 12. 64 times 2, I have a negative times negative, so that's positive 28, 128, minus 12, minus 12. And when I subtract those, I get 104. So W of -4 equals 104. So that's number 5. Okay, so number 6, you're going to do exactly like that. You're still using, they gave you your W equation, and you're still plugging in 5 and -4 to get your answer. Okay, so now let's look at numbers 7 through 10. Okay, on 7 through 10, they gave me a new equation. They said C of x equals 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2. And then they gave me another one. They said d of x equals 3x squared plus 6x minus 10. So they gave me two equations to use, and number 7 says, okay, find c of y to the third. All right, so what does this mean? This means find my c equation, and plug y to the third in place of all of my x's. So I'm using this equation, and in place of all of my x's, I'm putting y to the third. So I have 4 y to the third raised to the third power. Okay, y to the third, I put in place of my x, but then I have to raise it to the third. Minus 5 y to the third raised to the second power plus 2. And now we're going to use our rules about exponents. I have 4. I have a power raised to a power, so I multiply my exponents. That's going to be to the 9th. Minus 5 y, 3 times 2 would be to the 6th, plus 2. Okay, I don't have any like terms, so that is my answer for number 7. Okay, let's do number 8. Number 8, the problem looks kind of weird, but it looks a lot harder than what it actually is. I have negative 4, and then I have d to the 3z. It looks like that. Okay, so here's what that means. First of all, this negative 4 just means I'm going to multiply my answer by negative 4. So let's do this inside part. This inside part says go to my d equation, which is this one right here, and plug 3z in place of all of your x's. All right, so here's what it looks like. I'm going to write down this negative 4. And now I'm going to do this inside part. I'm plugging 3z into this equation. So I have 3x squared, but in place of all my x's, I'm plugging in 3z, but I'm supposed to square that, plus 6 times x, the x is 3z, minus 10. So now let's simplify what's on the inside. I have 3 times 3z quantity squared. That 2 has to go with both the 3 and the z. So 3 squared is 9, and z squared is just z squared, plus 18z minus 10. So now I'm still simplifying. Negative 4. 3 times 9 is 27z squared, plus 18z minus 10. And now I'm going to distribute my negative 4. Negative 4 times 27 is negative 108 z squared. Negative 4 times 18 is negative 72z. And negative 4 times negative 10 is positive 40. So that's my answer. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. We're going to do 9 and 10. So on 9 and 10, I'm still using those same equations. So let me write them down again. C to the x equals 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2. And d of x equals 3x squared plus 6x minus 10. And we're going to do number 9. So number 9 says 6c to the 6c of 4a plus 2d 3a minus 5. Okay, that's a parenthesis there. So this looks kind of confusing. All right, so let's just break it down. First of all, I know this is just going to be 6 times. This tells me to go to my C equation and plug 4a into all of my x's. Okay, so I'm not going to write down C anywhere. This tells me to take this C equation and use this part of it. I'm plugging 4a in place of my x's. So I have 4x cubed that I'm plugging 4a in, so 4a quantity cubed minus 5x, but x is 4a, and I'm supposed to square it, plus 2. So all of this is this part right here. Now we're going to do this part. So this part says plus 2 times, this tells me to go to my D equation, and I'm plugging this entire thing in place of all of my x's. Okay, so I have, going to my D equation, 3 x squared, but this goes in place of my x. So I have 3a minus 5 quantity squared plus 6 times x, but x is 3a minus 5 minus 10. Okay, so now we're going to simplify. I have 6, 4 times 4a cubed. That means 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. A times a times a cubed. Minus 5 times 4a squared. So that means 4 times 4, 16, a squared, plus 2, plus 2 times 3. Now this right here means I have to square this out. That means 3a minus 5 times 3a minus 5. I'm going to have to FOIL that. Plus, I'm distributing my 6. That's going to be 18a minus 30 minus 10. So it's really long, but we just do a little bit as we come along in our problem. So I have 6. 4 times 64 is 256. So 256 a to the third minus 5 times 16 is 80 a squared plus 2 plus 2. I'm going to leave this 3, and now I'm going to FOIL this out. This is an a. So 3a times 3a, 9a squared. 3a times negative 5, minus 15a. Negative 5 times 3a, minus 15a. Negative 5 times negative 5, plus 25. Now I'm going to write down the rest. Plus 18a. Now I'm going to go ahead and combine these. Negative 30 and negative 10, that's negative 40. Okay, so now here, I can't combine anything here, so I'm ready to distribute my 6. 6 times 256, so 6 times 256 is 1,536 a to the third minus 6 times 80 is 480 a squared, and then 6 times 2 is 12, plus 2 times, okay, I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 3. 3 times 9a squared is 27a squared. 3 times negative 15 is minus 45a. 3 times negative 15 is minus 45a. 3 times 25, 75. Plus 18a minus 40. So here, I still have this part. 1536a to the third minus 480a squared plus 12. Okay, so now I'm going to distribute my 2. And I distribute my 2 to everything in here. I really don't need this parenthesis anymore right here. Okay, that's a plus, and that was a 75. All right, so now I'm distributing my 2. 2 times 27 is 54. So plus 54a squared. 2 times negative 45 is minus 90a. 2 times negative 45 is minus 90a. 2 times 75, 150. 2 times 18, 36a. 2 times negative 40 is minus 80. We're almost done. Now all we have left is to combine any like terms. I'm going to start with my a cubes. I don't have anything else that has an a cubed, so I'm going to leave that. I have a negative 480a squared and a 54a squared. So negative 480 plus 54 is negative 426a squared. And I'm sorry, this right here should be a 3. A to the third. So I've done my A. I'm going to mark these out. I've done this one, I've done this one, and I've done this. Now let's do our A's. I have a negative 90A, a negative 90A, and a positive 36A. So negative 90 and a negative 90 and a positive 36 is going to give us negative 144A. So I'm going to mark those out. So then I have a 12, a 150, and a negative 80. So 12 plus 150 minus 80 is a positive 82. Okay, so all of this is our answer for number 9. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. All right, they're not all going to be that long. All right, so he gave you some problems to add to this. I'm going to have to cut down on these, I can already tell. Okay, so let's do this. This is your first set of problems. It's page 326. All right, we're going to do 5 through 10. We've already done some of those. And then let's do 29 through 31. Okay, most of those are the easy kinds like examples 1 and 2. So page 326, 5 through 10. I'm going to write this down so I can change it. 5 through 10 and 29 through 31. Okay, then I'll answer questions Friday when I get back.